This video is brought to you by hats. Put them on your head. Star Wars Episode 8 now has an official title in The Last Jedi, a name that's actually been used before in a 2013 novel of the same name. But you know, that's how these things go. You know how many Star Wars books there've been? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, that's too many. Thousands! Okay, so here's some stuff we know. Rian Johnson decided on the title all the way back with his first draft of the story. Presumably it took inspiration from a few things of note. The idea of a Last Jedi has been something that's popped up in Star Wars movies before, and it's always referred to a specific person. Luke Skywalker is called the Last Jedi in the opening crawl of Episode 7. Plus, during that movie, Snoke even refers to him as such.
The droid will soon be delivered to the Resistance, leading them to the Last Jedi.
Yoda also makes mention that he'll be alone in Return of the Jedi.
You, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be?
Of course, there was a time period when it wasn't just Luke. You see, he was the Last Jedi, then he wasn't, and then he was again. The details haven't been fleshed out yet, but we know that in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, something really terrible happened. Now, I know you probably know this, but just to clarify, in case you've done that thing where you've just spiraled into one of those YouTube binges where you're 40 videos deep and you don't know how you got here and what is happening, so just in case, I'm going to shed some light. So in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi, specifically a year later, Han and Leia had a son called Ben Solo, who you might know as Kylo Ren, who grew up to be a super powerful but pretty unstable trainee Jedi. He was taught alongside a lot of other Force-sensitive types at the location of a new Jedi temple founded by Luke Skywalker. His parents and Luke hid his lineage from him. He had no idea that Darth Vader was his grandfather until it accidentally became public knowledge about 6 years prior to The Force Awakens. So off the back of this and being seduced by Snoke, whoever that spindly looking idiot is, he turned to the dark side, killing every other Jedi and burning the temple to the ground, like a baby throwing all its toys out of its crib. We actually very briefly visited the aftermath of this moment in Rey's weird Force vision freakout. And as a result of this, Luke went into isolation at the location of the first Jedi temple, which we saw, making him yet again Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. But just the Last Jedi bit. All of this Han Solo very briefly touched on in The Force Awakens.
He was training a new generation of Jedi. One boy, an apprentice, turned against him, destroyed it all. Luke felt responsible. He just walked away from everything.
But The Last Jedi could refer to a number of people other than Luke. Rey is going to be trained by him in the same way that Luke was trained by Yoda, so it could be her. Kylo Ren could potentially return to the light side, so it may refer to him, though I'd say that's unlikely, in this movie at least. Plus also apparently he's going to be trained by Snoke. It could be Leia, though she mentioned in the book Bloodlines that she sacrificed her Jedi training in favour of bringing stability to the New Republic through governmental systems. Also, maybe there are other surviving Jedi. Who knows? There's always some of them banging about in the background somewhere. Jedi, though, can also be a plural term, like sheep. And by that I mean it can relate to multiple people. So it could be a combination of any of those mentioned. Now maybe this is nothing, but an official Brazilian Star Wars Twitter account referred to The Last Jedi as a he, but that tweet was removed. That, however, could be put down to a translation error that was then promptly fixed. But if I had to guess, if you twisted my arm and I cried a bit and then you stopped and I wiped away my tears and I caught my breath, I'd say this probably refers to Rey as she's an up-and-coming Jedi, or Rey and Luke as a unit. These movies are really about passing the torch onto a new generation of heroes, so that makes more sense to me than it just being about Luke. But who do you think it refers to? And what do you think of the title, The Last Jedi? Mark Hamill bloody loves it, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's got a real samurai, you know, it's straightforward and minimalist, and I like that.
You can leave a thought below if you want to or care to, even if it's wild speculation. That can be a real fun thing. Alright, I'll be back Thursday and Sunday with more videos, but in the meantime, feel free to check out my podcast, The Weekly Planet, that's linked below, that covers movies and comics and TV shows, or feel free to do literally anything else. Okay, thanks everyone. Take care.